All right. All right, here we go. Welcome into the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, every day right here round about noon. Where? From the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery. It is talk radio for normal people. That's what we like to say. We try to be normal, although life gets weird. Hi. Sorry about the late start today. April Fools? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not believing anything I hear today. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Half the news stories I'm going to be giving you today here as we round about all the hot topics, current events, trends, fun things to talk about. Half of them are probably bullshit because it's April 1st. I got one story in particular that I just became aware of yesterday that I'm like, are people putting this together? Do they realize it's April Fool's Day? Do we get that? So we'll investigate that as well. I'm probably wrong. It's probably a legit story, but who knows? Hi, Jeff. Let's say hi to the chat room. We got Jeff in the chat room. We got Byron in the chat room. We got Adam in the chat room. We got the Sports Bros in the chat room. We got Tehran in the chat room. We got Leslie. We got Peter. We got a full house. Welcome, one and all. Hi, Frankie. Frankie's in the chat room. What do we have to do? We've got a couple of things. Oh my God. Just blinded myself. I got these like super powerful lights and I can't see anything. And if I look at them from the wrong angle, I get totally blinded. And that's what just happened. We can't have that because tonight, come one, come all, trash trivia. Yeah, we're doing events now with this show. You listen to the show every day. We get out. Now we're going to hang out. Last week we had Bill from the chat room, the one guy. Thanks, Bill. Now Bill's walking around today like he's probably got other plans, but Bill's like, fuck, I'm the only one from the chat room who goes. I got to go again. Well, you only have to go if you feel like defending your title of King of the Chat Room Trivia is something that you're proud of. Anybody else want to take on him? We'll be over at the back nine for trivia, trash trivia. I was writing the questions. I write so many questions, but last night I wrote new ones. I was like, we're doing new ones. I feel inspired. I got 30 new trivia questions. I'll give you the categories. We're going to go music. We're going to go TV. We're going to go, Are You a Texan? We're going to play Are You a Texan? Do you know these fundamental truths about the state of Texas? You've been here your whole life. We'll play that. What else? We also got some general knowledge stuff, but I really like the music. I really like the music trivia. So if you think you're good at music trivia, come on out. Trash trivia. Form your teams. Get some people from work. Look, it doesn't have to just be people who listen to the show. Just come. We'll have fun. I'm on the mic. I make fun of dumb people. Oh, it's great. You'll love it. Don't worry. If you're a dumb person, trust me, I do it in a way that you won't even know you're being made fun of. That's the beauty of trivia. No, it is, though. It's trivia kind of for everybody. And there's other things, like Brandon's got all kinds of other like silly things going on for like losers brackets. Like when you lose, then you got to go and you got to play like this gigantic, he's got this gigantic Connect 4 wall, where you got to like play giant Connect 4 and then you win prizes. And he's got stuff to give away. It's a good time. What else you going to do? Come out, have a couple beers. Here's what I like about it. Sign up begins at 6:00. I'll be out there straight at 6. But then we're done at 9. We're done at 9. We're out of there. Game start at 7. We're out of there at 9. You're home, you're in bed. You're like a normal person. So it's okay. And you still get to pretend you're 25 and out in a bar on a Tuesday night. That's what I like most about it. So that's tonight. That's going to be at Back 9. Jeez, why Back 9's been so good to me over the years. We'll be at the Back 9 on Beltline, 4060 Beltline Road. Sign up start at 6:00. Come play trivia. Try and beat me. If you're good, I'm assembling a super team. Yeah, we got bigger plans for this, to grow it, to take it on the road, to challenge other bars that are having trivia nights. We think we've got a super team. So we'll see. I got nothing but slots too. I got one dude who's supposed to be on the super team with me, and that means we got 3 more slots because I want it to be a team of 5. Actually, as I say, the super team that I'm assembling is probably going to need to have 10 slots. We'll have 5 dressed for game day, but we're going to need 5 just because, people who are really good at trivia also, oddly enough, seem to be good at other things in the world, and so they have other commitments. So they can't just show up to a bar on Tuesday night. But we will be scouting. I'm looking for 10, man. I'm looking for 10 crushers. Maybe we can have 2 traveling teams. I don't know. Whatever. I'm getting really into trivia again. And you'll have a chance to come play it with me. Come on out. Adam, who keeps coming up with excuses. Adam, Mr. Shit Talker in the chat room, has got a million excuses. Says Tuesday's just a bad day for me. It's all right. We're not going to change it for you, Adam. That's fine. Tuesday's a bad day for me. What would be a good day? What day can we make it work for Adam? Stop it with the excuses. Yeah, if you come, you come. We'll have fun. You know how this works? Adam and I have been doing this for 25 years now. I don't need your excuses. Jesus. And also, because it's all about him, it also tells other people that, maybe people aren't going, so I don't have to go. So shut the fuck up! Why? If you're going to just say, yeah, I'm going. Come on, man. Tuesday's not a bad night. I know you're hanging on by your fucking fingernails, but let me tell you something about this new thing you're trying. Thanks, Adam. That's Adam. Adam. Did I freeze? What the hell? Did I freeze? Wait, I froze for a second. Adam says he's going to run the Denton County team. Oh, no. Never mind. Wait, what's his excuse? Monday, Wednesday, Friday are always easier since they have classes in the morning. What are you talking about? He's gonna run the Denton County trivia team. You are persona non grata right now, sir, for fucking shitting all over this attempt at growing the show. I can't go. It's a bad night. Anything you do, I'm gonna say something negative about it. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate you. Oh, man. So Adam won't be there. So I know you're all probably upset about that. Anyway, maybe some other people will be. I don't care. Nobody can beat Bill anyway. Bill's got my eternal respect. All right, that's tonight at the Back Nine, 4060 Beltline Road. Come one, come all. We're going to have a good time. It's just a hangout. So if you want to come and hang out. We'll have fun. Brandon's got prizes and stuff. That's why I team up with him, because he's got like a trunk full of stuff that he gives away at these things, like t-shirt, like cool stuff, like swag, like good swag. I loved it. I gave my kid a Brandon swag bag the other day. And, I'm jaded because, I work in radio. I've been giving out bags to like, who wants a t-shirt? You see how crazy people get for t-shirts. And at the end of the day, I always go back to a room where there's a giant table of t-shirts. And if I want one, I take one. So swag, I've always been on the inside of the swag giveaway stuff. I gave a swag bag to my 15-year-old kid, man. And I was like, that is just awesome. He was so happy. He had keychains and bumper stickers and beer koozies and mouse pads and a couple of t-shirts and a cool medallion. I mean, he loved it. And I'm like, isn't that cool? Okay, so good. That's nice. Swag bags are fun for people. I'm just jaded. We do need to talk about some other important stuff. My arm is hurting. That's not one of the important things we need to talk about, but that's just an aside, apropos of nothing. Apropos of everything, I'm getting older. Injured my arm working out with my kid like a year ago. I still can't use it. It's Pledge Week, folks. That's right. Pledge Week. Ring the bell for all of the good people of Pledge Week. We had one hell of a opening day for Pledge Week, folks. Here, let me get the update down there. Let's see. It's a scroll. We'll read the scroll. Let's see. Here we go. Down below, the Pledge Week scroll says it's Pledge Week. This show must raise $250 this week. That's 5 shows. I wrote this yesterday. That's 5 shows at $50 per show. Leslie C., Mama B., and Kojak. Thank you so much. They're leading the way. They got us off the ground. They slaughtered the $50 per day. We're good. We are now with 4 shows. I think we need to raise $38. $38. That's all it takes. $38 each show. And then we hit our goal. So thank you so much to Leslie C., as always, Mama B, and we'll go with it. Why not? He's our executive producer today. The old friend, Kojak. Can't keep Kojak down. Appreciate you, Kojak. He's the executive producer of today's show. If you would like to drop a little something, help the show out, you can do that at any time simply by going over to the Venmo or the Cash App. That's how this show runs. It runs exclusively on your gratuities. When you people do not want the stuff that I do every day, well, I'll know. And the money will just be untenable. And then I'll be like, some people are right. I am delusional. So help keep my delusion in full bloom. Drop a little something this week for potentially. All right. Thank you, folks. Appreciate you. Let's see. What else do we have to do here? Should probably do this one. Nope. Where's hold on. Don't I have a stream? Or no. I thought I had a ticker for the trivia thing. Ugh, guess I don't. But here we go. Oh, I do have one. All right. And we'll just do that one. All right. It looks like an idiot did it, but there you go. All right. So now we gotta scroll. There you go. So you can tip the show up there, and you can know where we are. So that's not it. That's not the right one. There we go. That's the right one. All right. I'm a mess. You know what I did yesterday on the show? I was so mad at myself. I teased things that we didn't get to. I teased things that we didn't even bother talking about. Now I feel like I lied to you people, and that's not a good place to live. That's where I am. What do you say we get started? I'll tell you how the show works out. It is a solo rant today. It's just me. It's a stream of consciousness on all the things that are happening in the world. I break the show down in 4 little segments, little nuggets. It's easier to digest that way, and it's certainly easier for me to not get lost in the weeds. So I always remember where I am. The 4 categories that we do the show are: 1, antecedently on this day. That's history. A couple of things from history I talk about. It gets the juices flowing. Quarter 2, birthdays. Celebrities, people born on this day. We decide, do we like them or not? Quarter 3, deads, celebrities who died on this day. It's almost the same as quarter 2, but it's not. They died, so it's sad. Or not. We sit in judgment. Where did they go upon their death? Did they ascend to the righteous glory of Jesus' warm embrace? Or did they go to hell? That's what we do in quarter 3. Or not Jesus' warm embrace. I don't know, my Jewish friends, whatever. What do Muslims get? Well, they get 70 virgins. Christians get Jesus's warm embrace. Jews get, I don't know what Jews get. I don't know what they get. What's the promises? What are Jews promised in heaven? But what do Islam do? Okay, Islam dudes get the 70 virgins. Is that it? I mean, that could be enough. That could be enough. Moving on, and then quarter 4 is all the hot topics, current events, and anything that's actually happening today. Headlines and all of that stuff. So what do you say we get started? It is Pledge Week. Kojak is our executive producer. I say, let's roll. All right, here we go. The first category we're going to get into here, antecedently on this day, it's all the events that I found interesting enough to riff on just a little bit. Some people might call it this day in history, but we fancy around here, antecedently on this day. All right, let's go. First I need to tell you what day it is, right? It's April 1st. April Fool's Day. Don't believe anything. If anything is interesting today, that's what today sucks. Today's the worst day of the year because I'm curious and I'm enthusiastic about new things. I am just ripe to fall victim for every stupid, anything new or interesting that you learn about today. You just need to be like, that ain't real. That ain't true. I'll revisit this in a week. And if it's still true, then okay. April 1st is the 91st day of the year. It is 274 more of these. 274 until New Year's Eve. So get those. Book your party plans now. Antecedently on this day is the first segment that we do. Let's see here. Antecedently on this day in the year 1789 in New York City, the United States House of Representatives achieves its first quorum and elects Friedrich Muhlenberg of Pennsylvania as the very first Speaker of the House of the U.S. A quorum. They haven't done it since. No. Antecedently on this day in the year 1924, Adolf Hitler is sentenced to 5 years confinement for his participation in the beer hall putsch. But he only spends 9 months in jails. Damn liberals. Damn. He was sentenced to 5 years. He did 9 months. Damn liberals in Nazi Germany. Or I guess it wasn't Nazi Germany yet. If it was Nazi Germany, he'd have done no time. Antecedently on this day in 1949, our sworn enemy, the government of Canada, repeals Japanese-Canadian internment after 7 years. Oh, yeah, Canada. I see you, Canada. I see you, Canada, walking around all these time, acting like you're the nice ones. Canada all this time has been like America's more polite little brother. Like America offends somebody and then they walk away and then Canada steps in and goes, hey, sorry about that. Ooh. You know what I mean? That's Canada's, but it's been their role. They're the ones that, he's had a bad day. Eh? They make the excuses for us. What's going on, E? E is poking his head in.
I'm going to leave you that refrigerator so you don't have to go over there.
We just got a refrigerator. The Kelly Moore studios are getting neat. You want to sit down and have a little chat? What are you doing? Come on. People would love to see you. We'll get them in there. Here, all you got to do is give me that cord right there. Look at this. A special guest. E, pop it in. The cord? Yeah. No, not that. Put that down. Yeah, just hand me the cord. Yeah, just the end of it. I'm going to plug it in. Yep. All right.
What's up?
I think it might be fun to get E's take on why we're so mean to Canada these days. Hold on. Let's get a good camera on you. Actually, there you go. We'll do it with this one. Hold on. There he is. All right, pull your mic there.
Here?
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Hey, look who we got here.
Where do I see this?
All right.
Do I pull this thing?
You're fine.
All right, cool.
Yeah, just get it comfortable so that you're fine.
All right, I only got about 5 minutes, so go.
All right, so first of all, thank you for the donation of a refrigerator here in the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios. It is taking a life of its own.
Yes, in the land of used equipment.
So I was just saying, on this day antecedently in the year 1949, the government of Canada, our sworn enemy, right? You grew up just across the border from Canada. You've known what shit.
No, I grew up in Canada for a couple of years.
So you know firsthand what sons of bitches those people are.
Yeah, they're generally beer drinkers and pretty friendly.
Well, no, here's what I was saying. Here's the piece of history that I think is so interesting. Canada's been walking around all these years acting like they're nice people, but it was on this day in 1949 that the government of Canada repeals the Japanese internment in Canada. Now, we, the United States, that's one of our darkest moments. We don't like to talk about the time that we took everybody with slanted eyes and put them in boxes for 3 years, right? That's kind of against everything that, the immigrants and, a melting pot and all that. But we overreacted and, that's what happened. Canada did it too. Did you know Canada did it too? Or didn't you just think that was our North American stain?
I mean, I had no idea that Canada did it. I did notice when I lived there that there seemed to be quite a bit of Asians.
That's what's wild about it, because Canada has a heavy Chinese population because I guess they have ports in certain angles of Canada that are just closer to Asia. I don't
remember. All I remember is like even when I was younger and we lived in Buffalo, like I'm talking kindergarten, first, second grade, my dad would drive us over the border and the first thing we would eat was Chinese food in Canada.
Why was your dad driving you over the border? Sightseeing, or something else going on you don't want to talk about?
No, I mean, back then he owned a stable of racehorses.
Of course he did.
And so they would race at Fort Erie, which was right over the border, and like Buffalo, you'd go right over the border. Okay. And then sometimes when he and I would go over, just him and I, we would get stopped in. I remember a few times they tore the car apart and stuff like that.
Well, I wonder why.
Yeah. I know why now. I didn't know why then, but now it makes a whole lot of sense.
Why is Big Johnny on their radar?
Yeah. Like it was kind of weird too, because the car got tore apart like a bunch. Like if we'd go over in a new car, then somehow it'd be torn apart.
And then, like, I imagine your dad for like the next 3,000 miles. What's that rattle? These sons of bitches.
No, I mean, like, no, because it was only like 30 minutes. It's only, I mean, from where we live to the border, it's like maybe 30, 45 minutes. And then you go over the bridge. So, and then once you got over the bridge, it was maybe, 30 or 45 minutes to Fort Erie to where the racetrack was. So it was never really like a long distance. But I remember when we'd be stopped at like the customs part, that's where they would be like, taking out the door panel, like taking out the seats, doing
what are they
stuff
looking for? You're a horseman. You run a bowling alley in Buffalo.
I mean, Andy had like a little kid in the car on top of it. Like they figured I was kind of probably a shield, I don't know, but it was kind of funny.
It all comes together.
Well, my mom was a Canadian citizen, so and she had a green card. So maybe they figured he was using it to go back. I don't know. Who knows?
They don't tear the car apart without some kind of.
But my grandfather owned a car dealership, which was a Lincoln Mercury dealership. So that's why we always had a different car.
Yeah.
Well, and like remember the Pantera, like the Di Tommaso Pantera, the high end sports car was like 19. I don't know, 72, 74, something like that. A really cool version of it. The guy that bought it, that crashed it, remember Tim Horton Donuts?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Tim Horton Donuts, if you look that up.
Tim Horton was a hockey player.
He was a hockey player. Okay. He was a hockey player. He was playing for the Buffalo Sabres, and he had been traded from the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he played in a game that night in Buffalo, and he took his Di Tommaso into a bridge. I mean, you get
Tim Horton, the donut man.
Yeah, into a bridge, the pylon. Like he hit the pylon like underneath a bridge that would be going over a highway. Yeah. And you see it on. I mean, the Google. I looked it up the other day. I remember I was telling Dominic about it. I wanted to find it, and the images of this car and just how it obviously was killed on impact. But he never really got to see the Tim Horton donut legacy.
So wait a second. So Tim Horton, the guy who I associate with, like, you know, one of the most successful chains out of Canada, the Tim Horton donut chain. I mean, folks, if you've never been to Canada, it's like Dunkin' Donuts with Starbucks. They're everywhere. You're telling
Google it.
I always thought that he was a hockey player who retired and started donuts. You're telling me
Google it.
I will now. I'm interested in this story now.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So the donuts came posthumously? Were they named?
Yeah, they weren't. Well, I mean, he had just kind of gotten it going, I think, is what I remember. But they were certainly not what they turned into. Like but the images of that car. So wind back to, so my dad had Cirillo Motors. It was a Lincoln Mercury Ford kind of dealership. And we also sold that Pantera as a car.
You sold big black gangster cars. That's what your grandpa did. Your grandpa sold big black gangster cars. Okay.
But we had that Pantera. So my dad got from the Sabres, Gilbert Perreault. He was number 11 of the French Connection. He got him to come into the delership, and he would sign.
Wait. You mean the real French Connection?
Yes.
We're talking Popeye Doyle, the movie of the same name.
No. We're talking the Buffalo Sabres. Had a hockey line. Had a hockey line.
I thought, I'm still going gangster. I thought you were talking about the heroin connection that came from New York in the 1970s that was immortalized in the Gene Hackman film, The French Connection. You're talking about the hockey line.
The hockey line that was on the Buffalo Sabres was called the French Connection. It was a famous 3 guys that played. It was Gilbert Perreault in the middle, Rene Robert was a winger, and Rick Martin was another winger. And so they were referred to as the French Connection. We went to the Stanley Cup, lost against the Philadelphia Flyers in the Fog series, whatever. But they were a famous line for the Buffalo Sabres for a long time. Anyway, my dad had Gilbert Perreault and guys from the French Connection come into the car dealership. Mainly it was Gilbert Perreault, and sign signatures in the car dealership and stuff like that. And then Tim Horton had purchased a Di Tommaso, that actual car. And
that he wrecked from your grandpa?
No, not. I don't know that he had purchased it from us. I just know that he had purchased one.
It's us.
And that was the
family empire.
And that was the car that actually ran into the the pylon or whatever, the bridge. Yeah. There you go. You got 5 minutes of Canada.
Story time. I'm telling you, this should be a weekly thing because I have questions and I know he has stories. Ladies and gentlemen, the proprietor here at the E-Gallery, the beautiful Dragon Street location. Thank you. Close the door on the way out. That was great.
All right,
and I got a new refrigerator.
Your ice in there, if you need to plug it in or we're going to melt out the ice.
All right.
Okay.
Appreciate you. All right, folks, let's get back into it. Antecedently on this day, Canada. And they did the whole thing with the Japanese. They put them in internment camps. I didn't know. I don't think Canada gets the ire that the rest of the world seems to give on us. That is like one of the things people are like, you put that. I'm like, okay. We were scared. We were, I was raised in the 70s and 80s. Obviously, with my worldview, that was wrong. But I can't speak to the way people were thinking in the 1940s. They were scared. I see the way people are when they're scared now. They do crazy things. But Canada did it too. Antecedently on this day in the year 1976, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak found Apple Computer. Happy birthday, Apple Computer. Antecedently on this day in the year 1979, Iran becomes an Islamic republic by a 99% vote. So 90, nah, you know what? It was corrupt from the beginning. Get out of here. Rant, people will tell you when I was little, my mom had not my mom, my friend, my friend's mom had a guy that she worked with, and he was from Iran, and he was like new to the country. So he used to he was over at the house sometimes, and and this was at the time when we all hated Iran because of the hostages. So he used to try and tell us about good things. And apparently Iran, like in the 60s and in the 70s, it was pretty awesome. Like you could do, like, it's very Western. I mean, they like cut people's hands and feet off in the town square if that's what you were into, because, stealing and stuff. But, I always thought that was weird. He would tell us stories of discotheques and casinos and, beheadings in the town central at the command of the Shah. I was like, that doesn't sound much better. Iran's always been messed up, is my point. Antecedently on this day in 1984, singer Marvin Gaye is shot to death by his father in his home in Arlington Heights, Los Angeles. I don't know. I know this. Antecedently on this day, year 2001, an EP-3E United States Navy surveillance aircraft collides with Chinese Army J-8 fighter jet. The Chinese pilot ejects, but is subsequently lost. The U.S. Navy crew makes an emergency landing in Hainan, China, and is detained. I don't know if I remember this story or not. This seems to be, it was on this day in 2001. So it's some about Chinese Anyway, here you go. I kind of remember it. I'm like reading this, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if other people remember. This was kind of a big thing, right? Like, they had to land, like our guys had to land in China, and were they not? I don't know. Anyway, antecedently on this day in 2004, Google launches its email service, Gmail, and now everybody has it. Everybody got the Gmail. All right, let's do birthdays. Born on this day. These are people having birthdays. We need to decide whether or not we, whether or not we think, out of the box. Okay, here we go. No, we can't do this. No, I'm not interested. All right, never mind. Forget it. I was going to do a Kiss, Marry, Kick, thing. Legends League, with like old timey girls, but never mind. Instead, we'll just say happy birthday. Born on this day in 1932, Debbie Reynolds. Debbie Reynolds was born on this day in 1932. Now, who's Debbie Reynolds? Debbie Reynolds is Princess Leia's mom, right? She's Eddie Fisher, and Debbie Reynolds made Carrie Fisher. There you go. She's Princess Leia's mom. Let's check her out. Let's see what Debbie Reynolds was working with when she was one of America's darlings. Let's see her. Young Debbie Reynolds. Undeniably beautiful. That is a very cute chick, man. Debbie Reynolds was a cute chick. Bad hair again, though. We keep going back to this. When did they get good hair? When did girls get good hair? 70s with the, straight, long, Crystal Gale, hippie chicks doing that? Because until then, all the hair was bad. Just bad hair. What's that? Look at that. That's a terrible haircut right there. That is terrible. Ugh. There she is getting older. She's pretty. She's very pretty. Very pretty. Oh, there she is. That's how we remember her. Debbie Reynolds. Happy birthday. She was born on this day. Where is it? Born on this day in 1932. She's the one who died a day after her daughter. Like her and Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, her and Carrie Fisher were super close. And then Carrie Fisher died on an airplane flying home for Christmas. And like 3 days later or something, Debbie Reynolds died. Oh my God, what a sad thing. All right, Debbie Reynolds, born on this day in 1932. Happy birthday. Can you hear us in heaven? No, she's not in heaven. She would be in hell because she's an actress. Born on this day in 1939. Here's another one. We were going to do this one here in the Legends League. This is one that I had kind of a bit of a crush on when I was very little. Don't know why. She's not famous at all. Ally McGraw. Nobody knows who Ally McGraw is. I think she did a commercial when I was like 12 or something. She was kind of attractive, and I'm like, yeah. Ally McGraw was a phenomena. She was the young, hot phenomena in hot. Oh, there she is. That's what she looks like now. She was in Love Story. Guess that was. There she is. That's like Ally McGraw Love Story era. So here's a cool story about Ally McGraw. Hold on, let me give you a good picture of her because it concerns one of the most badass dudes in the history of Hollywood. All right, so Ally McGraw was the hot young girlfriend of Hollywood super producer and studio head Robert Evans. Robert Evans is my favorite documentary ever made is a film about Hollywood. It's about Robert Evans. It's a film called The Kid Stays in the Picture. If you've never seen The Kid Stays in the Picture, you're doing yourself a disservice because it's brilliant. Anyway, Robert Evans is this Hollywood legend, this great super producer. So he's dating Ally McGraw, and he puts Ally McGraw on his new big budget, whatever, opposite Ryan O'Neal. It's called Love Story. Love Story would go on to become a massive hit. Her next movie, Robert Evans, who was a super producer and a studio guy, had said something shitty about Steve McQueen, called him a monkey or a gorilla. And it got back to Steve McQueen. And Steve McQueen was awesome. And you just didn't do shit like that to Steve McQueen around about 1970, 1971, because he was the most powerful dude in Hollywood that wasn't named Frank Sinatra. So Steve McQueen decides that he's going to fuck with Robert Evans. So Ally McGraw, like a year later, gets cast in a Steve McQueen movie. Steve McQueen is still harboring this grudge against Robert Evans for something that Robert Evans said about Steve McQueen at a party years earlier. Ally McGraw and Robert Evans are still an item, a hot Hollywood. She's the sweet young thing, and he's the powerful Hollywood executive, and they're an item. So anyway, Steve McQueen decides that during the filming of this movie, The Getaway, he's going to fuck Robert Evans' girlfriend. So Steve McQueen decides, I'm going to get Ally McGraw. I know. I'm not even interested in her. I'm just going to go get her because Robert Evans once said something shitty about me, and I'm Steve McQueen, and I can do this shit. Who's getting hurt? Not her. I'm Steve McQueen. She's gonna go with me in a minute. And she did. And during the making of The Getaway, which is the film, during the making of The Getaway, Robert Evans started panicking in Hollywood, and he ended up flying to the set. And he barges into the hotel where he's paying. He's the head of the studio. He's paying for everybody. Barges into the hotel, bangs on his girlfriend Ally McGraw's door, and of course, Steve McQueen in a towel answers it. Oh! Happy birthday, Ally McGraw. There she is. She fell in love with him. And you know what? After all that, Steve McQueen fell in love with her. It was a real relationship. Ally McGraw having a birthday today. Born on this day in 1939. Born on this day in 1961, Susan Boyle. Remember Susan Boyle? Does the name mean anything to you? I think she won like everywhere but America's Got Talent. It was like, wasn't it? Did she start out? It wasn't like American Idol Europe or something, right? It was like something. It was something in Europe, and Susan Boyle was like a. She was brought out. She was wearing like a maid's outfit because she was a housekeeper. You know, she's like an old middle-aged housekeeper who was gross and had greasy hair. And she came out and basically like this special needs individual. They brought her out like a special needs individual. And then she sang beautifully. Susan Boyle went all opera, and everybody was like, oh my God. And Susan Boyle then, became a big star, and they gave her a makeover, and now she looks normal. Happy birthday, Susan Boyle. All right, there you go. But she was trotted out like she was special needs. The whole reaction to Susan Boyle was based on the idea that we thought she wasn't normal. We thought there was something wrong with her. And there probably was. But then she was like, and she was good. Susan Boyle, happy birthday, born on this day in 1961. Born on this day in 1980, American wrestler Kyle. I almost said Kyle. That's a football player. Randy Orton, ladies and gentlemen, Randy Orton. Born on this day in 1980. Bijou Phillips. Here's an interesting one. Let's get involved with Bijou Phillips, shall we? Because she's had one hell of a life. I don't know if it's good or bad. She's certainly been pampered. She's lived a nice life, a life of luxury for sure. Here she is, but she's had some hiccups. Here she is, Bijou Phillips. All right, young actress. A pretty young girl, I suppose, if that's your thing. Let's see. There she is. She got teeth. She never got her teeth fixed. She's got vampire teeth. Certainly could afford it. All right. Let's see. There she is. She always plays trash. She plays trash really well. Someday I'll do my draft of actresses who play trash. Juliette Lewis is going to be number one, just so you know, because I'm Gen X. Nobody plays trash. Nobody plays a trashy girl better than Juliette Lewis. But Bijou Phillips will definitely be in that ranking. So here's her deal. Bijou Phillips is the son of John Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas. John Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas. He's got 3 daughters who all have the last name Phillips, who are all famous for different things, and they were all created with separate mothers. So all the John Phillips daughters, Mackenzie Phillips from One Day at a Time, she was from the first marriage. Then you got China Phillips from the band Wilson Phillips. China Phillips, now married to Billy Baldwin or something. China Phillips, she is from John Phillips' second marriage. And then Bijou, the one celebrating a birthday today, she's from the third marriage. Mackenzie Phillips claimed that she had a 10-year incestuous relationship with John Phillips, the dad. And I don't know. He was like a really bad dad. I don't know if that's true or not. Bijou Phillips says she doesn't believe that it's true, but Mackenzie, her half-sister, told her that at 13. And Bijou says that that's why at 13 she started doing heroin, going to clubs, partying. If you remember Howard Stern from the 1990s, he used to talk about Bijou Phillips all the time. Bijou Phillips was going to all of the clubs. She was on the red carpets. She was making a nuisance of herself. She was coming out of trendy New York nightclubs at 4 a.m, drunk off her ass, and she was 14. 14. Don't act like, it's a crime when kids do this. Howard Stern was tracking her whereabouts every day for years on his morning show. And everybody was like, wait, she's 14. How is she getting into the bars? Don't ask. Because it's all a fucking construct. It is. She can go to bars and it's totally fun and we're not going to say anything. Just move on. So she had like a lot of problems. She's junky, all of this stuff. And, her dad is a big creeper. But, I don't know, she's living a life where she said once talking about her crazy days as a 14, 15, 16-year-old, she said, look, I had an unlimited budget. I had car service. I had a incredible condo in Soho, and I had no parental supervision whatsoever. 14 years old. She wasn't even emancipated. Her parents just didn't give a shit. It was just like, yeah, here, have some money, go out in the wild. So then she grows up and she kind of cleans up and she stops being a drug addict and she stops having all these problems. She becomes a bit of an actress and she's doing some roles and she's making a name for herself. And then she meets a guy and she falls in love. That guy that she met and fell in love with, Danny Masterson. That's right. Convicted serial rapist who is now doing life in prison. She went from growing up with John Phillips, who just broke her, to falling in love with a serial rapist who's now in prison for the rest of his life. That's quite the life. Bijou Phillips, happy birthday. Born on this day. What year was she born on this day? Born on this day in 1980. Born on this day in 1982, Taran Killam. Taran Killam, you remember this guy? He was on Saturday Night Live for a couple of years. He was on Mad TV like 10 years before that for a season. Taran Killam, I always thought was really funny. And then he left Saturday Night Live and he's not doing anything. And you know why he left Saturday Night Live and isn't doing anything? Because he married a woman who's getting a lot more work. and he can just hang out and not do anything that he doesn't want to do because he's married to Colby Smolders. Colby Smolders. From Colby, we know her. Come on, you know Colby Smolders. She's very funny. How I Met Your Mother. She was the star of How I Met Your Mother. She was the one who the entire run of that series we thought was going to be the mother. Turns out she wasn't the mother. And then she did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then she's in the Marvel movies. Anyway, Taron Killam got his hooks into her and now he doesn't have to work because she's very bankable. Born on this day in 1983. Here's a sad one, especially with a story we're going to talk about later today. Born on this day in 1983, former Washington Redskin, right? Florida State, too? Or was it Florida? I think it's Florida State. Maybe it was Miami. Could be Miami. Somewhere down there. Born on this day in 1983, Sean Taylor. Remember Sean Taylor? Died tragically in 2007, 2008, somewhere like that. Home invasion, right? People broke into his house. People broke into his house when he was there. He got shot and killed. While in the league, I mean, just an unbelievably horrific thing. Sean Taylor, born on this day in 1983. Happy birthday. Born on this day in 1995, Logan Paul. Which one is he? Which one is he? Who's the other one? Fred? There's a Fred Paul, right? There's a Pope Paul. Who's Logan? Logan's birthday. Jake? Is that it? Is it Jake? Does that sound right? That sounds right. Jake Paul sounds right to me. Anyway, I don't know which one Logan is, but he's one of them. Here's the thing. Hey, Netflix. I mentioned this the other day. Why wouldn't Netflix approach Jake or Logan Paul, whichever one is the boxer, the good one, I don't know, whichever the one is. Why wouldn't Netflix approach Jake or Logan Paul and try and set up a fight with one of the Paul brothers versus Andrew Tate? I'd watch that. And wouldn't that be weird? Because I watch every Paul fight. Anybody who fights with the last name Paul, I root for the other guy. But this would be a time where I'd be like, and this is just because I do have some admiration for one of the Pauls. I'm not sure. One of them I have some admiration for because he seems to be a branding genius. He seems to really understand how people react to certain things. And I think he would see this as an opportunity to go from a guy who everybody roots against in every single one of his fights to being a guy who suddenly everybody's like, kick his ass, Paul brother. I think that'd be a good one. Anyway, Netflix, free of charge. There you go. Whatever you need, Netflix. You come to me. Let's see here. Let me fix the camera because I don't like this. There we go. We'll keep it here. Here we are. All right. Let's see. Moving on. Who else has birthdays today? That's it. No more. We're done. Let's go to the deads. These are people who've died on this day. Marvin Gaye. We already covered that. Marvin Gaye died. He went to hell. Marvin Gaye was, there's a lot of stuff in his history. He was, no, he goes to heaven. Maybe I have that wrong. I don't know. Marvin Gaye. I really liked him. Heaven. He's going to heaven. Dead on this day in 2010, John Forsythe. John Forsythe was, of course, most famous for being Blake Carrington on Dynasty. But do you know he was also Charlie on Charlie's Angels? He was the voice in the box. We never saw him. Never once did they show Charlie on Charlie's Angels. But that was him. John Forsythe, voiceover role. We'll put him in heaven. Why not? He seemed like a good dude. Dead on this day in 2017, amazing, legendary, iconic, Hall of Fame, first ballot American blues man, Lonnie Brooks. Dead on this day in 2017, Lonnie Brooks. Of course, famous for the song the Blues Brothers made famous, Sweet Home Chicago. That is Lonnie Brooks' biggest hit. Sweet Home Chicago. Lonnie Brooks going to heaven. Dead on this day in 2024. Wow, this is a weird one, huh? Dead on this day. How sad. Vontae Davis. You guys remember Vontae Davis? He was an NFL linebacker. He retired in the middle of a game. He was playing for the Buffalo Bills. It was just before they started to get good. It was like the season when they had to really suck in order to get good. Maybe it was Josh's first year. He retired at halftime of a game. Vontae, he's like, I got out there and I can't do it anymore. Actually, I think it was a corner, maybe. Maybe he was a corner. People got mad at him. That's not how you do it, man. He was going through some mental things. He just dropped dead in the shower on this day 1 year ago. Vontae Davis. I don't know anything about him, but I just know I was shocked by that. Put him in heaven. I don't know. No foul play was suspected. All right, there you go. I don't know. That's sad. He was just dropping dead 1 year ago. Also, here we go. Dead on this day 1 year ago today, one of the greats. He's going to heaven. We'll put him in there preemptively. Joe Flaherty, the great Joe Flaherty. The great Joe. I mean, he's going to get a picture. You're going to have to see him because I'm afraid that some people will be like, I don't know who Joe Flaherty is. Who's that guy? I can't picture him. So now I got to show him to you because he's appeared in so many things over the years. He is an absolute legend. And he died on this day 1 year ago. He is the great Joe Flaherty. Here we go. Let's put him up. All right. Images. Yeah. Look at him. Look at that man. That man. Who did? Come on. That brings a smile. Oh, wait. We're not sharing Joe. Well, that sucked. There you go. You see him. He was the dad on Freaks and Geeks. He was in Second City. He was in SCTV. One of the greats, Count Floyd. Guy Caballero. Also played Floyd Cannonbear. It was Earl Cannonbear. He was Floyd Roberts, who would do the news, and then Floyd Roberts would turn into Count Floyd. He would host the scary late night movie on SCTV. That's right. Joe Flaherty, an absolute genius of a man. Love him. All right, that's going to do it, guys. We are out. First three quarters. It's time for us to talk about all the hot topics and things that are happening. I want to one more time remind you that tonight, join me, Brandon, and all those folks. We're going to be out there at, where is it? Trash Trivia. That's it. I forgot. Trash Trivia tonight at 6 o'clock. Also, I can't remind you enough of this. It is Pledge Week. Please help the show out. We need to raise X amount of dollars by the end of the week. 38, I think it's $38 a show now. So if you could tip the show, drop a little something there. The Venmo, all of that good stuff. We'll leave that up. Thank you so much. Our executive producer on today's show was the big tipper of yesterday's show, and that honor goes to my old friend Kojak. Thank you, Kojak. Look at that. I lost my eagle. There we go. Eagle's back. I like the eagle. I like to, even though we can't even see it at this point. Start you fucking. Ugh. All right, what do you say we get into some of the news? Yeah, okay, there you go. And I thought Adam was Breaking Bad on Joe Flaherty. Yes, he plays the asshole in Happy Gilmore. The guy who's always heckling. The guy who's got nothing but, he's a troll. The troll, before we had a name for trolls. That's Joe Flaherty. All right, let's see here. Let's get into all of the news that we need to talk about. All right, well, hold on. Wait. Let me check on this. Is this still happening? Oh, this is some BS.
For you, but first, for the senator from New Jersey, I was wondering if you could tell us if you have heard from your veterans who have been fired, if you have heard from your veterans who've seen their services delayed in New Jersey and around the country.
Yes.
All right, now that's, I believe that's my senator. Although I don't live in Illinois anymore, but that's Tammy Duckworth. She's giving Cory Booker a little bit of a break. Here's what's going on, all right, in the Senate, because there's nothing pressing that needs to be handled by these people. So Cory Booker is performatively, are they calling it a filibuster? Is it an official filibuster? Cory Booker has been talking nonstop in the United States Senate since what? 6 o'clock last night, 7 o'clock last night, nonstop, very performative. Other Democrats are showing up to give him a break and ask long-winded questions, but never cede the floor. It's like a goddamn West Wing episode. These Democrats are so feckless. They have absolutely no teeth. They have no plan. What they have is an idea of how to manipulate you. So they're running around there going, we should do like what they did on the West Wing when the old man, when he got up there and he wouldn't stop in the filibuster and everybody was, this is what democracy is. Cory Booker, oh, stop it. This is doing nothing. This is doing nothing, and it's going to end, and everybody's going to forget about it. But somehow, with some of these easily manipulated Democrats, they'll have it in their head that, remember when Cory Booker, with absolutely no shot at making any change, he stood there and gave of himself for 17 hours. This is performative. This is supposed to try and tug at your heartstrings and make you think this is what America is. No, it's not. I'm so cynical with these people. This is nonsense. Let's check back in. Let's see what Cory Booker's talking about now, shall we?
Mike back and corrects her. One of his voters, he corrects her on national TV. This is wrong. He's a guy who loves his wife, Christian, loves his family. I mean, that is character.
All right, so I honestly don't know how much longer this is going to go on for, but one of the things that's truly interesting is that nobody cares. Nobody cares. I came about this just because I was surfing on Twitter, just going down and down, and as I was putting the show together, somewhat like one person. It's not trending. I've been watching CNN. I've had CNN on my TVs all morning long. Nothing. No him in a box in the corner, right? Nobody's going along with this. This is just Cory Booker screaming into a vacuum. Look at me. My people will remember me. And by the way, I do remember you, Cory Booker. Remember the story from a couple of years ago about how you ran into a burning building to save one of your constituents? Someone on your block had a house fire and it was on fire and you ran in. The story's the next day. Cory Booker, senator, bravely runs into burning building to save stranger. Yeah, well, as the dust settled on that, you actually now admit that you didn't go in. You were just there because it happened on your block and you were one of the first people there. So when the cameras got there, you were there. Now, I don't know that you ever claimed that you ran in or anything like that. I'm not sure. I'm not all that up on you, Mr. Cory Booker, right now, performatively wasting everybody's time in the Senate chambers. But I know that reports have said that you did not run in. You did not run in and save anybody's life. You were simply there because it happened on your block. It was convenient for you. And in the age of Twitter and internet and instant, misinformation, you became a hero. Now here he is. Let's see what he's doing now. What's old performative Cory doing now? And by the way, there's something about this guy that is stopping him from going to the next level. This dude, Cory Booker, has been, he's the next Obama for years and years. And yet he's been leapfrogged by people like Hakeem Jeffries. He's been leapfrogged by the Ocasio-Cortezes of the Democratic Party. He got leapfrogged. Why? What is it? Somebody got something on him? Didn't he date Rosario Dawson? Is Rosario Dawson a man? He dated a man, and now he must be silenced. Now his star is really kind of dimmed, right? I mean, Cory Booker was supposed to be something you were afraid of. He was the black male Elizabeth Warren. She dimmed too. She stopped being a threat to anybody. Let's check back in on Cory Booker and let's see what he's doing now.
Himself a bamboo needle. Over a period of a couple of months, he sewed the American flag on the inside of his shirt.
All right, we're going to be good with that. I don't need anymore. Anyway, Cory Booker is still performatively. Nobody cares. This isn't a West Wing episode. This is stupid. You look dumb. All right. For Democratic voters, they want more than this performative bullshit that is supposed to make, California wealthy women power walking with their wine swoon, right? That's who this is for. Cory Booker is so brave. Did you see him? Shut up. Stop it. This does nothing. All right, let's see what else is happening here. Cory Booker still going on and on and on. All right, speaking of something else that is just stupid, I'm tired of the stupid news. Greenland. the fuck is going on with Greenland? Nobody in Greenland wants to be anything a part of whatever the fuck we're pretending we're going to make them. They don't want it. They don't want it. J.D. Vance got sent there for a publicity stunt so they could take pictures. J.D. Vance got sent to a military base. He was supposed to tour this little community. He couldn't leave the military base because of the protests. They don't want to be a part of America. So why are we pretending? Why are we fucking with people for no reason? Why are we the goddamn Death Star now? Why is fucking our leader Darth Vader? What the fuck, man? Greenland, they want nothing to do with us. So the new prime minister of Greenland, by the way, this isn't much because apparently there's only like 48 people in the entire country of Greenland. But apparently everybody owns a red hat that says, "Make America go away again." That's how the people of Greenland feel. So can we just stop, on behalf of normal, decent, cool fucking Americans, can we stop just jacking with people for no reason because we can? I mean, this is the very embodiment of being a fucking bully. This is what people like Stalin did. This is what people like Hitler did. Rolling into Poland and just deciding that now you're going to be a part of us. That's not how a civilized world, a civilized global community thrives. Greenland's new prime minister explodes at Donald Trump. We don't belong to you. Dude's name is Jens Frederick Nielsen. He's told Donald Trump, we don't belong to anyone else. Greenland's new prime minister has issued a strong message to Donald Trump following the U.S. president's claim over the island. What the fuck? Claim over the island? We want it, so we'll take it because America is just about thug politics now? The fuck? All right, more serious stuff was taking place. And honestly, I do think this is kind of serious because, not everything, the optics may be hysterically off-putting and irritating from this administration. But they are doing some things. Some of these things are good. A good thing happened yesterday. Okay, we got a new law, a law that protects us where we live, consumers. We got this new concert ticket law. It's a very real and very irritating thing to, see a ticket for $50 and then end up paying like $88 for it because there's all this bullshit extra tacked on nonsense, none of which goes to the artist who we're trying to support. All of it just goes to the endless hands that are out and mixed up in this crazy regulation of concerts and all of that. So there's a new law that's going to protect all of that stuff. And that is good. That is good. And it's also brilliant. It is why Donald Trump is so popular. This is something that he does that other people, certainly not the Democrats, ever do. It's populist legislation. No serious leader, no serious governmental official has time for meaningless populist legislation. Populist legislation connects to the stupids. Populist legislation makes people go, yeah, I get that. That one I understand. Gulf of America is populist legislation designed to make the stupids feel like they get stuff. I get it. It used to be Mexico, but we don't like them, and now it's ours and it's America. I get it. He's my president. It's populist legislation. The concert ticket thing is also populist legislation. It's something that nobody gave a fuck about. None of these people care. We care because this affects us when we want to go see a concert or when we want to buy tickets for our kids or whatever. This is the bullshit that we put up with. And he's addressing it. It's brilliant. This is populist legislation. Nobody ever gave a shit about this. They would give lip service to it, right? If it was during a campaign year and the sitting Democratic president needed to, a little bump in the polls or something, maybe he'd bring in Beyonce and do a photo op in the office and he'd say, we're going to get to the bottom of these concert tickets, and they wouldn't do dick. Well, this president knows that these are the things that resonate with regular people. So he did it. And I think it's a good thing. I don't believe it's the most pressing, but I think that you can do the most pressing things and also take care of us where we live, where the gas prices. You're going to campaign on egg prices, right? So this is not a bad thing, but it is, make no mistake, it is populist legislation, not priority legislation. So anyway, they announced it yesterday. Kid Rock. Apparently, we're calling it the Kid Rock bill. I don't know if that's what we're calling it. That's what I'm calling it. And that's what I want to call it. So Kid Rock was in the White House, and here it all went down like this because we are very serious people in this country in the year 2025. Here you go, Kid Rock with the president.
I know you put, I want to make sure Alina Habba gets her credit too, because I know she worked very hard on this, but thank you for making this happen so quick. Anyone who's bought a concert ticket in the last decade, maybe 20 years, no matter what your politics are, knows that it's a conundrum. You buy a ticket for $100, by the time you check out, it's $170. You don't know what you can charge for, but more importantly, these bots. You know, they come in to get all the good tickets to your favorite shows you want to go to, and then they're relisted immediately for sometimes a 400% or 500% markup. And the artists don't see any of that money. And, you know, ultimately, I think this is a great first step. I would love down the road if there would be some legislation that we could actually put a cap on the resale of tickets. And I'm a capitalist and a deregulation guy, but they've tried this in some places in Europe, and it seems.
See, but this is how it always works. And you always say, look, I'm not against this. But, you know, he's like, I'm a capitalist and I'm a regulation guy. But this one affects me. So I feel totally different about it in this particular instance because it affects me. Do you see? He's not even smart enough to know not to fucking say that part. But, you know, he's a dumb fuck.
The only thing that's deregulation guy, but actually put a cap on the resale of tickets. And I'm a capitalist and a deregulation guy, but they've tried this in some places in Europe, and it seems to be the only thing that's us as artists be able to get the tickets into the hands of the fans.
Everything about this dude decked out in his red way, everything about Europe fucking sucks to this dude, except for apparently the way they pay their artists for concerts. Again, yeah, Europe bad, except for when it comes to something that specifically and hyper-aggressively affects me personally in my chosen profession. But other than that, fuck Europe.
At the prices we set. I'll be the first one to say, and I know the president doesn't like when I say this, but I'm a little overpaid right now. It's kind of ridiculous. I would rather
yeah, you are.
Be, you know, adhere to working class people and have them be able to come attend my shows and give them a fair ticket price. I can't control that right now, so hopefully this is a step to really be able to make that happen.
All right, Bob, you big dumb. You know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate him saying and representing the working people and regular people and even the dumb ones who go to his concerts. I think that those people are voiceless. And it is nice that he can be in the Oval Office and, you know, he can push, because of his relationship with the president, he can push this kind of populist legislation that resonates with actual voters, is why Trump keeps winning elections and actually does at the same time a good thing. It's a good thing. Look at this. I bet you Adam, who goes to more concerts than anyone else, I bet you suddenly Adam is agreeing with this particular Trump policy. Now, to address the elephant in the room, okay? Can we address the elephant in the room here? Hey, you guys remember a couple weeks ago when you Byron and Barney and Jeff and all you guys were super butthurt over the lack of respect that Zelensky was wearing by showing up to the White House and having a meeting with President Wood dressed the way he was. Remember, suits, man. You got to dress a certain way. It's terrible. It's terribly disrespectful. Zelensky should never be allowed back in the White House again, I believe, is what a lot of you people thought, simply because of the way he dressed, the disrespect that he showed. As Peter Doocy said it, I've never seen someone dressed like they're about to be shot out of a cannon in the Oval Office before. That's right. That's Fox News' Peter Doocy. I will quote him again. I've never seen anyone dressed like they're about to be shot out of a cannon in the Oval Office before. So, I don't know. I better see a whole bunch of tweets about how this is disrespectful and the president in the office and blah, blah. Better see those tweets. Or you guys are hypocrites. Nah, I'm just kidding. I already know you're hypocrites. You don't have to do nothing. I just pointing this out. Let's see here. Kid Rock showing up to the Oval Office with all the respect of someone about to be shot out of a cannon. Again, I think it's fine because he's Kid Rock. But I also thought Zelensky was fine because that's the way he dresses everywhere because he's a wartime president. It's a different thing, fashion and suits and all that. And, he's a wartime. It's a whole thing. But no, would have been different if, we seen Zelensky in suits and stuff and all that. But we never did. We never saw him in suits. He was always wearing that kind of, he doesn't want to wear a military outfit because he's not a poser. That's his words exactly. So that's the uniform that he has chosen out of respect for his people who are struggling to see their guy walking around in a press suit like he doesn't have a care in the fucking world. A little disrespectful to his people, but I wouldn't expect, anybody in the White House to have any depth to be able to feel that. No, so it was just he was being disrespectful. But Kid Rock's fucking fine. He's fine. Looks like he's about to be shot out of a fucking cannon. You people, just consistency is all I want out of you. Consistency. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so let me first say this. I was up late last night because a very interesting SpaceX project was going on, and I wanted to watch the launch. It was a crewed launch on. I love my SpaceX. I love my space. You know that I love Elon Musk. He is Da Vinci to me when it comes to all of the things that he is looking at as far as exploration and where we're going next. He's also just, I hate his guts in every other way that he has suddenly become. No, he is a piece of fucking human garbage who has no ability to relate with other people. One, because he's retarded, and two, because he's like a super billionaire who has no fucking clue. Rich people, man, I'm telling you, the richest person, I'll tell you, one of the richest people I know, here you go, check this out. I know a family of rich people here who are now, they just left because I was going to try and meet up with for a business thing. Anyway, they're out of town. They left today. They're on their third vacation of 2025. It is April. They have gone on 3 vacations already. I haven't been on a vacation. You want to hear a shocking thing? I haven't been on a vacation ever as an adult. I'll say that, yeah, my mom took me on vacations as a kid, right? I wasn't deprived or anything. As an adult, I've never been on a vacation. Never. Everywhere I have gone, it has been work related. It has been, I guess, we've done the radio show live from a beach in Mexico for a week or, stuff like that. That's not really a vacation, though. That's not just me. I don't get vacations. So imagine how angry I was when I learned that a meeting that I thought I was supposed to have today was canceled because they're on their 3rd vacation. 3rd vacation. 2 kids, wife, husband. 3 vacations already. Anyway, Elon Musk cannot even remotely relate to us. And so for any number of issues, but he did do something very cool. Credit needs to be given. A Falcon rocket, not the heavy Falcon that's going to help propel us into the outer limits of the regular everyday workman Falcon rocket that the SpaceX crews use to do space repairs and all that kind of stuff. So they did something really cool yesterday. They did a mission to the poles. I'm not going to bore you with the details because I'm space geeky stuff. But anytime in the evening, I think this went down at about 8:30. I think I was watching it last night. Anytime you launch humans into space, I'm still going to watch that because it's not 100% that we know what we're doing, but it was a beautiful launch. It was a beautiful launch. It was a beautiful retrieve. The booster after separation, of course, Elon Musk has this really cool thing. The last one we saw when they went to get the people from the space station, when the booster returned, we saw it was one of the arm grabbers, right? We've all seen that where it the grab the arm, the rocket comes down and the arm grabs it. Okay, so that's returning. Last night, we had a platform landing. Did you know there were multiple kinds of, last night was one where they landed on a platform, like a tripod. It just came down. It is so cool. That stuff is awesome. And I have so much respect for Elon Musk for all of that stuff. Now let's talk about some other stuff that's making some news. All right. Elon's having the world's wealthiest man, a guy who is just, remember chainsaw? I got a chainsaw, taking a chainsaw to our government. This foreigner who's not even American. He's got a weird accent. I don't know what it is. He sounds like a Bond villain. And we're letting this guy run roughshod over everything. And in the middle of all of this fucking dork, and I think it's because he's retarded, this fucking dork is having a shit talk back and forth with one of the many mothers of his children. Publicly. The world's richest man cannot fucking control himself to be like, you know what? This is neither good for my kid. This is probably not good for me, who's taking a chainsaw to people's lives. You know, it's just fucking a bad look. And he's doing it because he has no sense. He has nobody who is telling him, dude, you got to dial this back, Elvis. You got to dial it back, right? He doesn't have that. So he's just like, he's being cheered on by everybody. And he's fucking retarded. So it's like this whole, like, you know, social awkwardness where I don't think that he knows that it's wrong. I just think that it's like, well, tough guys, right? So he's surrounding himself with a bunch of tough guys now. Elon Musk used to spend all of his time with a bunch of rocket nerds and, like, you know, coder dorks and stuff like that. And he probably felt pretty, you know, normal. We've seen pictures of him back then with the receding hairline and all that. But now he's hanging around in this, like, Trump, Alpha, Tate, Hegseth fucking man's man orbit. And I don't think Elon knows how to fit into that. So he's walking around with big belt buckles and hats and, you know, trying to act tough and chainsaws. He's fucking retarded, man. He doesn't know how to read the room. He doesn't know social cues, but it doesn't matter because he's worth like $300 billion and he's in charge of the world because of it. That's what we've created. Oh, yeah. And he's also shitting on his not even a girlfriend, some woman he knocked up. He's shitting on her publicly over nickels and dimes. He's nickeling and all right, let's get into this. Here we go. I'll show you. Well, I'll even show you the goddamn. It is so beneath him. What is he doing? All right, here we go. So it's this Ashley St. Clair chick. Remember, we learned about her a couple of months, maybe a month ago or so. All right, so let me walk you through the story. About a month ago, it was revealed that Elon's got another kid with this right-wing MAGA influencer, hot chick, young, dumb, full of Elons, you know. And they got a kid together. And apparently, you know, Elon didn't deny it. He's like, yeah, got a kid. Yep, that's no problem. All that stuff. And so we're all like, oh, well, you know, it's Elon. At least he's taking care of the kid. So now the mom is out there. Mom is out there now a couple of weeks later. She's saying Elon isn't taking care of the kid. He's the world's richest man. This is so beneath him. Do you understand that he could have 5 million kids? How much money does he have? All right, let's say let's just make it easy. If he's got 10 kids, think, oh, okay, it's not about the kids. I think it's about the baby's moms. So you got to take care of them. He's got like 4 baby mamas, okay? He's got 4 baby mamas. Why doesn't he just give each one of them a fucking $1 billion and be done with it? If he doesn't want all of this, but he likes it, it's the drama. And now I think he likes to publicly be seen, you know, like being mean to his bitch ex, because again, he's floating around in an orbit with a bunch of dudes who are just shitty dudes. Just dudes who are like, yeah, fuck those women, blah, blah. That's who he's with now. So I think that's what he's playing. So I think at some level, Elon Musk publicly shitting on one of the chicks he knocked up and is now not paying for the kid, but he says he's paying. It's like, I gave her $2,500. I don't know. Anyway, because she is a garbage human being, this Ashley St. Clair, no, make no mistake. She fucking trapped him. She got pregnant and, you know, whatever. She was hot. He wanted it. He could afford it. Boom. Here we are. So just pay her off is what I'm saying. But she's apparently making a big deal of it. And what she's doing here, check this out. She is selling her Tesla. Apparently, he gave her a Tesla. That was one of the big things. Well, you're going to need a car to get the kid around town. So he got her a Tesla, and now this was yesterday. She is in the carport. She is wherever she is in her luxury Manhattan condo, which, by the way, he bought. He bought it. He gave it to her. So that's good. So she did get something. All right, let's see what she has to say. She is selling her Tesla because she cannot make ends meet. Hey, how about sell the condo? You'd probably get a few million for that condo. Go live in an apartment in New Jersey. You know what kind of a nice place you could get for like $3,000 a month right now? But no, she is going to performatively sell her Tesla.
Selling it because I need to make up for the 60% cut that Elon made to our son's child support.
Why do you think that he did that?
That's a great question for him.
You feel like he was sort of like vindictive against you in some way?
Yeah, that's his modus operandi when women speak out.
When was the last time that you spoke to him or tried to speak to him?
February 13th.
Oh. But he's just not responding to you at all. How would you characterize him?
I'm telling you guys, I'm sorry. I had to click that to get out of it. I just can't handle her. I just don't understand why this dude just doesn't write these chicks monster checks and be done with them. If he doesn't want to be in the now, he's like, I'm not even sure that kid's mine. It's his. He knows it's his. I'm not even sure that kid's mine, is what he's saying. Here, I'm going to show you a recent Twitter back and forth between her, the baby mama, and Elon himself. Okay, is this it? Let's see here. Ooh, yep, there it is. Okay, here. I'll show it to you and then I'll read it to you. Again, he doesn't need to be doing this. And what's truly upsetting is knowing the amount of power he has and then also seeing that he doesn't have the common sense to know that this isn't something a decent or serious man does in public. This is not public fodder. This is something idiot teenagers do, not somebody that we've entrusted to reshape our government. So here we go. Let's look at this. Elon Musk, he starts out, this is between him and Ashley St. Clair publicly on Twitter yesterday. Elon says, I don't know if the child is mine or not, but I'm not against finding out. No court order is needed. Despite not knowing for sure, I have given Ashley $2.5 million and am sending her $500K a year. All right, that's what he says, and that's a pretty good deal. And quite frankly, I'd be happy with it. I'd be like, thank you. Although you're not really allowing one of your children to grow up in the kind of lifestyle that is deserved for a child of yours. All right. I'm just saying $500,000 is not much. 2.5 billion, I believe he's talking about the condo or the build or the apartment that he bought for. All right. She goes on to say, this is Ashley St. Clair responding to Elon Musk. She says, Elon, we asked you to confirm paternity through a test before our child, who you named, was even born. You refused. And you weren't sending me money. You were sending support for your child that you thought was necessary until you withdrew most of it to maintain control and punish me for disobedience. But you're really only punishing your son. It's ironic that your last effort in court was to try to gag me while you use a social media channel you literally own to distribute derogatory messages about me and our child to the entire world. It's all about control with you, and everyone can see it. America needs you to grow up, you petulant man-child. Wow! All right, I like that. I like reading that. I like that she's up. But that should be a conversation that's in private between these two. This is not something that serious people engage in publicly. Should be embarrassing. And if he, with all of the power that he has, all of the influence and all of the money, if he doesn't know that this is not behavior befitting a man in his position, then I don't know what. I mean, what am I supposed to say? Then we're all in trouble? Because quite fucking frankly, I'm just white knuckling this. We're going to ride this out. We're going to ride this shit out. This guy, this foreign agent, it's not even American. He's a real patriot. He wasn't raised with any patriotic ideas about America. He didn't know dick. If I sat Elon Musk in here right now and talked to him about the Civil War, I bet you he wouldn't know anything because he didn't learn anything about it. There was no need for him to learn that shit. He's not a patriot. He's not an American. He was born and raised in a fascist, totalitarian, diamond-loving nation. He was raised in apartheid South Africa. That's his worldview. His father was a supporter of the de Klerk government and owned diamond mines. That's who shaped Elon Musk. And now we're running around pretending like he's an American patriot. Like his heart swells during the opening credits of Patton, where George C. Scott walks out in front of that American flag. No, he doesn't have that. He doesn't even have a fucking American accent. He sounds like some Bond villain. And so many of you people, Jesus Christ. Ugh. All right, let's keep going. Here we are. Let's see what's next. Deadbeat Elon. Oh, Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee's in the news. This is a weird news story because we talked about it a couple of months ago. Do you remember the girl? This was a big story, and I think I made a big deal about it because I didn't understand it. I was very confused. I thought, are these people famous? I don't know. Do you remember the girl at Mississippi State who supposedly had an affair with her boyfriend's father? And apparently she went home. They're from Waco. I guess she went home to Waco, and her boyfriend stayed at Mississippi State. And back home in Waco, she went to her boyfriend's little sister's basketball game. And that basketball game was also attended by her boyfriend's dad. And after little sis's game, dad gave them all a ride home, dropped little sis off at home after the game, and then went to dinner and banged the girl. Remember that story? Oh, it was so embarrassing. Oh, we loved it. We were like, I can't believe this girl. What a whore. I mean, we put her picture out there. Oh, my God. I mean, did any of us even for one moment consider that maybe it wasn't true? Maybe none of it was true. That it was just a rumor that was started and somehow took off? Because that might be the case. Because there is certainly no... She is claiming, this college student. What was her name? I'll give you her name. She's got big money attorneys. Mary Kate Cornett. She's got big money attorneys, and they are going after ESPN. They're going after the Pat McAfee show because apparently the Pat McAfee show, on the day that it was breaking, they had a lot of fun about this story. And her and her lawyers are claiming that it's not true. It never was true. That's why it went away. And yet I still walk around this world, and every time people hear my name, Mary Kate Cornett, they think you had sex with, she's angry. But again, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. She says it's not. A college freshman is attained legal authority, blah 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 blah, looking to file charges or file a suit against Pat McAfee for amplifying a rumor that has repeatedly upended her life and her college career. A Monday report from The Athletic detailed the experiences of 18-year-old Ole Miss freshman Mary Kate Cornett. According to the report, the anonymous messaging app Yik Yak was the source of the rumor that Cornett had had an affair with the father of her boyfriend. I've never heard of Yik Yak. So that's where it started? Yik Yak? The rumor picked... Sorry, got me a pop-up. The rumor picked up so much steam that it made its way onto other social media platforms. Their multiple Barstool sports personalities chimed in. And of course they did. And you know what? If we were up and running with the Dallas Shock House, so would we. Actually, what am I talking about? We did. We're not even. The Rant, we commented on that. That's a good story. Because she's super hot. And her dad's, the dad's older. Dad's like our age. And we're like, oh, could you imagine that? Old guys got off on it. Young guys got off on it. She was hot. So she sold herself. A lot of hot pictures of her floating around. I don't know. I mean, I understand why that story took off. And I understand why people didn't give a shit if it was true or not. They wanted it to be true. And so they just went with that. Because that's how we go with most things that we learn now. Do we want that to be true? Because if we want it to be true, we're going to make it so. And we're going to go through our lives just believing it's true. But if we don't want it to be true, we're just going to call fake news and move on. Cornett stressed to The Athletic that the story being repeated by multiple high-profile members of sports media is completely false. Since then, Cornett has been the target of extensive harassment, both online and in person. She was forced to relocate to emergency housing on campus, and her classes were all switched to online. All right, so she's been through some stuff. We don't know if it's true or not. She's saying it's not. If she's got lawyers that are with her, they must have something that can back up her claim that it's not true. And we'll see how that goes. She's going to sue a whole bunch of people. But first up, it looks like Pat McAfee and ESPN and them great, big, deep Disney pockets. They'll be the first. fattest city in America. We got new rankings. You know, I like to do my fat cities. I like to do my alcoholic cities. I like to do my best places to live, and I like to do my worst places to live. Here we go. Let's learn what the fattest cities in America are. And all right, I live here in the South. Let me just say something. I can't believe this. This is like unbelievable. Do you realize that the most obese cities in America, the top 20, all South? It's all the South. There isn't a city north of the Mason-Dixon line that appears until, and I mean, do you even want to consider this? I think it's like somewhere in central Ohio is like the first one where you're like, okay, well, that's not the South. The fattest city in America with an 84.9% obesity rate. 84! McAllen, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, McAllen, Texas is the fattest city in America. Let me give you the top 10. Top 10, Birmingham, Alabama. Fayetteville, Arkansas. Lafayette, Louisiana. Augusta, Georgia. Shreveport, Louisiana. Louisiana, represent, boy. Knoxville, Tennessee at 5. Mobile, Alabama at 4. Alabama represent. Isn't that 2 for Alabama? Nope, that's just the one. Jackson, Mississippi is at 3. You know, you feel bad for Mississippi. You know, Mississippi doesn't have anything to look forward to. They know that they are never going to be at the top of any lists, but they do kind of, I think, have a bit Stockholm syndrome, where now it's like if they're going to be the worst, they're going to be number one. Like Mississippi, they take pride in being like the least educated state, that kind of thing. They take pride in like all kinds of crazy things. You would think Mississippians would take pride in being the fattest, but they're not, except in Jackson, Mississippi, 3rd fattest. Little Rock, Arkansas, 2nd fattest. And of course, we already told you about McAllen, Texas. So where does Dallas fit in? Let's see here. Dallas, Texas. And how far do we have to go to get to a city in the north? 21. Canton, Ohio. Canton, Ohio is the first city named in the list. It comes in at 21 that isn't in the South. It's all that fried chicken. It's all that soul food. It's all that, I don't know, what are you eating down here? What are we eating down here? Is everything fried? Why? Why are we obese? And then 22, 23, 24, 25. The whole rest of the 30s are all southern cities again. Dallas comes in at 24. Dallas is the 24th most obese city in America. Houston is 33. Houston is better. Where else? Anything else? Where's Austin? Where's Chicago? Hold on. What was Dallas? I like to compare Dallas to Chicago because those are the 2 places that I consider to be my homes. All right. Dallas was, doesn't matter. Austin's 49. Des Moines is 54. There you go. Out there, there's all the corn too. You'd think the corn syrup would make people out there in Des Moines. It's not like they have more corn syrup than the rest of us. Just because it grows there doesn't mean that they're chugging corn syrup on street corners in Des Moines. I'm a fucking idiot. Where's Chicago? Come on, Chicago can't be this healthy. Where's 82? Chicago is the 82nd fattest city in America. All right, let's see. 100, Honolulu. Honolulu is the skinniest. Or at least in the top 100. Honolulu comes in at 100, Seattle at 99, Denver at 98, San Francisco at 97, Boston at 96, Minneapolis at 95. People are all really healthy. They're out there hiking, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. There you have it. Congratulations, McAllen, Texas. You are the most obese city in America. Lost my flag again. That's okay. Oh, I lost everything. What's going on here? Look at that guy. We'll get my eagle back. Boop. There you go. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? My arm is really killing me. All right. Also, why am I gonna have to start wearing fucking makeup? Look at how white I am. This is awful. I am struggling with the lights. We got more lights. We got more lights than an alien landing, man. I'm telling you, we have more lights in this. Right? I can't get the lighting right. Can't make it look natural. Look at my head. All right, we'll figure it out. We'll get through it. If you have any lighting tips, come on out to trivia tonight at Back 9. Be there at 6 o'clock. Trash Trivia, 4060 Beltline Road. Me, Brandon, everybody. Apparently, he's got a team of Sunbrew girls you can try and go against. We'll see. I'll be hosting, and I've got some fun questions. Categories to include music, movies, TV, general Texas. Did you grow up in Texas? How well do you know Texas? Are you from here or are you a poser? Texas trivia. Got a whole category of stuff that if you're from Texas, you should know. Stupid. We'll get to that tonight. 6 o'clock, 4060 Beltline Road, the Back 9 in Addison. Okay, we've done the fattest city. Okay, Richard Sherman. Did you see this story? This was as I was driving in today. Ugh. Sorry, there's a breaking piece of news that my page was locked up for a moment until I acknowledged that I'd seen this breaking piece of news, and it's political bullshit that I want nothing to do with. Richard Sherman, the Legion of Boom, Richard Sherman. NFL football great. Richard Sherman's house was robbed, and this is interesting because we've been following these stories about a year now, right, of pro athletes in America, their homes being targeted, their homes being robbed. We had a whole spree of them during the football season that went after a number of football players and NBA players and stuff like that. And then they caught those guys, or so we thought. We caught those guys. Well, doesn't mean they're the only people that has the idea that, hey, maybe it'd be easy to rob young pro athletes. Although Richard Sherman is not it doesn't fit the profile of the original crime spree. The original one was specifically targeting current athletes who would be playing, out of town at the time of the robbery. Maybe this is unrelated. Maybe this is just, hey, you know what? Richard Sherman's probably got some nice stuff, and some people decided that they were going to try and rob him. Video shows gunman breaking into the home of former Seahawks cornerback Richard Sherman. Sherman's wife, Ashley, wrote on Instagram that she woke up to intruders outside her bedroom with a gun. Hold on. Let's see if we can see this story here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here, we'll watch it here. This comes from the Today Show. It's as good as any. I could just show you RAM. I'm sure the Today Show's got good video of it. All right, here we go.
In this 11-second clip posted to social media by former NFL star,
All right, so they're coming through a window here. This looks like, I don't know if this is ground floor. Did these guys have to climb up? Because there looks like there's steps there. This is quite looks lived in. Kids, toys, it looks to be spread out. There's a little kid's table here. So they come through this window. Let's watch.
11-second clip posted to social media by former NFL star Richard Sherman. 3 hooded men smashed through a window carrying what appears to be duffel bags.
All right, I think that might be ground level because it looked like they had to go through like a tree or something, some kind of a bush.
That video supplemented by chilling images that would haunt any parent. One showing a person inside the house wearing a jacket and holding what appears to be a handgun. A second with 2 intruders in one of the rooms, the contours of one man's face relatively clear, the other with the hoodie zipped all the way up and a bag slung around his shoulder. Sherman writing on X, the other with the hoodie zipped all the way up and a bag slung.
All right, what do they mean the contours of the man's face are clear? They're talking about this guy. Talking about this guy right here, right? They're saying the contours of his face are clear. Let's see. I don't think so. I would say that looks like a black guy, or is that racist? How can you even? Well, it looks like because the nose, and I'm saying that because also here's why I think that looks like a black guy.
Contours of one man's face relatively clear, the other with the hoodie zipped.
I think that's a black guy because I think this is a white guy. I think this is obviously a white guy. So there you go. we've got an integrated team of smash and grabbers.
All the way up and a bag slung around his shoulder. Sherman writing on X, house being robbed at gunpoint with my family in it isn't what anyone wants for a birthday gift. Scary situation that my wife handled masterfully and kept my kids safe. The couple has 2 young children. Sherman's.
All right, now, is that Richard Sherman's wife? I mean, look, Richard Sherman deserves a wife that looks like that. She looks pretty good. Richard Sherman's probably ripped with like 0% body fat. Look at him. He's smart. He went to Stanford. He's got Super Bowl rings. He's got money.
His wife, Ashley, also posting, people are so S-word. Come in my house middle of the night with guns and threaten my family? King County authorities in the
All right, now that's the house. Looking good. That looks very nice. I like that.
Seattle area telling NBC News they did respond to a burglary after midnight on Sunday, but can't share more because it's an open and active investigation, and authorities not confirming it was Sherman's home.
1 yard. You need 1 yard. Run the ball.
Richard Sherman, a Super Bowl champion with the Seattle Seahawks and a 5-time NFL All-Pro, is now an analyst for Thursday Night Football. Sherman's camp telling us he's declining interviews at this time. He has a significant public profile and is now the latest athlete to find himself victimized by a home break-in.
It's frustrating. It's disappointing.
Yeah, all right, we get it. We get it. But, there you go. There's the media. This doesn't fit the profile at all of the other cases, but they're trying to link it. Hey, remember how scared we were before? Now we're going to show you Patrick Mahomes, but we're not going to tell you that they caught those guys. Because we're going to make you think that this one is still ooh. That's what they do. They're not related. They should have said, well, similarities to other cases, but they didn't do that though. They didn't. Because they're all about misleading. Oh, and don't be like, Pugs, you stopped it. No, it was done in like 15 seconds. They weren't going to add that level of context. I promise you. They don't want you to. These are different people. These are different. Remember, the first group were a group of Central or South American, right? Remember, we had that trouble. I'm like, are they South American or Central? They were South American gang of gang members who were brought to do these jobs by Russian New York City jewelers, gangsters, whatever. It's all very intermingled. But it was the Russian New York City jeweler syndicate that brought in these people to do these smash. That's what we know. That's who they arrested. That's the charges, and we'll see it play out. This is different. That whole thing was targeting players who were out of town playing games on TV at the time of the robberies. That's an MO. That is something that, this is different. This is Richard Sherman. They were home. They didn't care that they were home, right? It's a whole different thing. So stop it, media. Stop trying to make us think it's all related. Guys, here's an example of it being April 1st. Don't believe anything that you hear today. Now, I started hearing about this yesterday. I guess it truly began over the weekend, but I didn't really pay attention to it. But I heard about it yesterday, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, wait, tomorrow's April Fool's Day? What is going on here? Guys, the baseball season is less than a week old at this point, and we've already got our big controversy because there's a lot of old-time baseball-minded geriatrics who can't stand any kind of change whatsoever. So I'm talking about this new thing. Did you hear about these torpedo bats? Torpedo bats. Torpedo bats are a new kind of bat that apparently is being used. The Yankees seem to be using them. They were like, oh, the Yankees hit 1 million home runs over the weekend, and it's because of these torpedo bats. And then, I read a story about it, and it was like, well, no, the guys who were using torpedo bats weren't even the ones who went yard. Yeah, Aaron Boone or Aaron Judge isn't using a torpedo bat. So I don't know. But these bats are shaped in a way differently than regular baseball bats. Now, when I said that I thought this might be a bullshit story, it's because I didn't think that was legal. I've been watching baseball for years and years and years. I thought there was very strict specifications as to what a baseball bat for Major League Baseball had to be shaped like and had to look like. These torpedo bats do not look like regular bats. The barreling is different. The barreling is closer into where the hands are, which is by design. So that, instead of maybe fouling balls off, you might be able to barrel balls, which means that hitters who typically have bad bat placement, bad wood placement, trouble barreling balls because maybe they swing at stuff that's too in on the hands. Well, those guys are going to start hitting like 280, 300 now because they've got a baseball bat now that where the barrel is thicker, where they usually foul it off or pop it up or whatever. So that's what these torpedo bats are. And apparently the Yankees are using them to great success. I don't know. I don't watch the Yankees. I thought this was a fake story because of April 1st and because I assumed you couldn't just use anything you wanted. I'm going up there with a 2x4. I thought a baseball bat was a very specific thing. Well, haven't really heard that addressed other than people say that it matches the specs for a Major League Baseball approved bat. And that's what I read this morning. And I'm like, well, that doesn't sound right. And then I'm like, fucking April Fools. It's April Fools. I got to be a skeptic about everything. So now let's talk about baseball because I'm an old baseball head. And I see the audience has now disappeared to the point where we can feel comfortable talking baseball. All right. Everybody's abandoned me late in the day here on a pledge week, no less, with no tips so far. At least I don't think so. Maybe. I got to check. So my buddy Ed, we all know Ed from Radio Misfits, right? Ed is the grand poobah. He runs the whole thing. He makes this show possible. All hail Ed. But Ed's a baseball guy, and Ed's like an old man baseball guy. Any kind of thing designed to make the dying sport of Major League Baseball more palatable to a new audience, Ed is against. Ed wants none of it. Ed wants to still wear suits and ties to ball games. That's what Ed wants. Ed wants to go back to a baseball game sometimes being 12 hours long and then ending in a 0-0 tie. That's the kind of sport. I have an appreciation for the way baseball used to be. I have an appreciation for, the pitcher killing rallies and forcing us into another inning of extras, right? I have appreciation for that. Not much. Much prefer the DH. That's why I'm an American League guy. I much prefer giant gorillas hitting 500-foot home runs in the bottom of the ninth so that we can all go home and get a good night's rest before school in the morning. I appreciate that. But no, Ed is one of these guys. The pitchers should hit. Why should the pitchers hit? I think we ought to just put like a pitching cannon out there and eliminate pitchers altogether. They're basically useless, and they're the most troublesome of all Major League Baseball players. They're all assholes. I am all for ghost runners. Ed's not. Ed doesn't like the ghost runner. I'm all for a pitch clock. I don't think Ed is. I don't want to speak for him, but I want to believe that Ed was probably against that. And now we have the new bat, which I believe Ed is like, they shouldn't be allowed. Oh, what now? Now guys who would be career 180 hitters are now going to be hitting like 240 and Yeah. So what? So fucking what, man? Why do I see? I don't care. This is my argument with people. Yes, these bats are going to be used by people who usually don't get hits, and they're going to start getting hits because, again, the barrel placement of this bat design is a little bit closer in on the hands. So instead of getting jammed the way you would on an inside pitch, these guys who have a tendency to swing that way are now going to get more firm contact. They're going to actually be able to barrel the ball when it looks like they got jammed. That's going to lead to hits. That's going to lead to people making all-star games, that never should be. And I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that because more hits means more movement, which means more things, which means the game is more exciting. We are talking about maintaining the status quo of a sport where if you get 3 successes out of 10 attempts and 7 are failures, but you succeed 3 times, you're going to the Hall of Fame. If you can just, be good 3 out of 10 times, you're the best. We need to fucking change that. Okay? That's stupid. We need to see dudes in baseball in 20 years hitting 750. Why? Because that's what's going to bring kids out to games. Also, steroids. I want 700-foot home runs. You know me. I've been consistent on this. I don't give a shit what these monkeys pump into their veins for our entertainment joy. That's, whatever they want to do. They know the risk. They're well compensated. They make crazy big money. Why are we worried about their long-term health if they're not? I want 700-foot home runs. You can't tell me the Oakland A's of the late 80s weren't the most enjoyable baseball team to watch. They were all roid freaks. Bash Brothers and whatnot. So anyway, the torpedo bat, I don't know if it's real or not, but I don't have a problem with it if it is. I don't give a shit if these guys want to start going up there with those big, fat, red, Fat Albert bats. Remember those things? Remember they were like a wiffle ball kit from when you were little? And the ball was like big and white, but the bat itself was a giant red. Go up with those things, man. I want hits. I want runs scored. I want movement. I want base stealing. I want all kinds of crazy shit. You know what I don't want? I don't want to ever see a dominant pitcher again. Dominant pitchers suck. Boring baseball. Hey, check it out, guys. He's got a perfect game. 4 hours. This is a miracle. It's a perfect game. This one guy is having an absolutely amazing experience, and we're all going to get together and pretend like we care about the good experience of this one guy, even though the rest of us have had no excitement. The rest of us are sitting around going, this fucking sucks. No, but the one guy, perfect game. It's a miracle. It's a baseball miracle. Oh, shut up. I'm all for pitching robots. Get rid of the starting pitcher in baseball. I can't with these people. They're terrible. All right, there you have it. Torpedo bats. There's my take on torpedo bats. 100% of what I just said there concerning baseball is authentic. You might think that he's being silly. No, those are really my thoughts on baseball. I want to save baseball. I love baseball. And baseball has been wholly unwatchable for the last 20 years. Trying to get my young modern son to actually pay attention to baseball has been one of the great disappointments of my life. It's too slow. Highlights. Loves watching highlights. He loves being a fan. He loves reading. He will read all of the stuff before the game, and he knows all about the players and the averages, and he looks at all of that. But when it comes to actually watching the game, fuck that. He's going to watch the highlights. He doesn't have time for that bullshit. Baseball? All right, let's save baseball. Let's save it. Let's save it by just letting anything goes. Anything goes. Glory days of baseball. All right, what else do we have here? Guys, how about that's it? How about that's it? How about we end the show? I think we got to get out of here. I know it was a late start. We started at about what? 1:40, 2:40, 3:40. So there we are. We're in about 2 hour. We're at that 2 hour window. Again, I got a lot of stuff I got to do. We got a big day tonight. We're going to be out there at the back nine. Ladies and gentlemen, please come on out and join us at the back nine. Back nine is located at 4060 Trash Trivia. I got my questions. I'll be asking the questions. And I'm looking for my super team. Hey, has Bill been in the chat room? Because I think Bill might be laying low. Bill doesn't want to come every night. Bill had a good time, and he's the champion, but I think Bill might be laying the groundwork to not have to defend his title. Maybe Bill's afraid to defend his title. Maybe he knows some of you are going to come and take it. We'll see tonight. Back nine, 4060 Beltline Road. Also, one more time, thank you. It is Pledge Week. I hope that we've I hope that we made our $38 goal for today. That would be wonderful. If not, we'll get back at it tomorrow. And, we'll keep grinding away. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This has been The Rant. We are Radio Misfits Dallas, radiomisfits.com. I do this every day, round about noon, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery in Dallas's Design District. Check out all of the shows that we offer if you like podcasts. radiomisfits.com. Okay, love you guys. Bye.